And now, RSM, the Ram Sports Magazine Show.
Good evening and welcome to RSM, Ram Sports Magazine Show. I'm your host, Anthony Keith. Up first on the show tonight, new CSU Stadium talk. I dropped by the latest meeting. This is what went down. The Colorado State Stadium Advisory Committee met Thursday night as they discussed one of the most important factors in a new 45,000-seat structure: location.
Well, I think that the work that the site selection committee has done is really rational, and that they've taken into consideration history, they've taken into consideration the master plan, as well as the objectives that we're trying to accomplish.
Several restrictions come into play, but the committee narrowed the proposed site down to 5 locations in 3 general areas on CSU's campus.
Those are the sites that we really thought fit within the campus master plan, preserving the green space, provide good opportunities for on-campus engagement and alumni engagement, getting to and from the stadium, moving through campus, seeing the campus, those types of things. While
the committee is one step closer to making this idea a reality, some members of the community, such as Carl Patton, a 40-year professor at CSU and member of Save Our Stadium Hughes, feels this discussion on location shouldn't even be taking place.
I believe it's a premature exercise. We should be asking the question, should we, before we ask the question, how do we do it?
Now, of the 5 locations chosen, this one seems to be the favorite. However, nothing is even close to being written in stone. The most popular choice comes close to the intersection of Pitkin and Meridian.
It kind of straddles the residential and recreational side of campus with the academic side of campus. It has some nice symbolism there for us.
This particular location would require tearing down multiple structures of the university's housing district.
We're talking about a university that's going to be 35,000 possibly in the next 10 years or so. We need to be thinking about where we're going to house those students.
CSU has hired Icon Venue Group to serve as a consultant to the advisory committee. Their next step is site analysis.
Icon is going to give us that reality check. This is what they do. They're the professionals at looking at sites, all the different considerations from traffic and floodplain and all those geotechnical types of things.
While the committee continues to meet, the debate continues as everyone searches for the best answer.
Football is fine, but it is not on the seal of Colorado State University. The seal says education, research, service, and extension.
My hope is that the debate can be transformed into a deliberation where people are talking to one another and exploring solutions and not fighting with one another. And I think we're getting there, frankly.
I don't want to see the campus become dominated by a football culture. Football is fine, but it is not on the seal of Colorado State University. The seal says education, research, service, and extension.
Incredibly huge point right there. Now just tell me, what are you getting out of these meetings? Have you attended others?
I've attended every one of them.
General thoughts afterwards from each one.
A disturbing feeling that this was a done deal from the start. Tony Frank posted these 4 points that Jack Graham mentioned in his white paper on December the 1st. The same day he fired the old coach, and the same day he hired the new coach. And surprisingly, I see these same 4 points being rehearsed by Mr. Graham over and over again.
I've been very active for the last 5 or 6 years in student housing. My first concern was, when I heard about the stadium, out of the blue, on-campus stadium was, well, you know, we're talking about a university that's going to be 35,000 possibly in the next 10 years or so. We need to be thinking about where we're going to house those students. We can't just have it in the neighborhoods like we are now. So that was certainly a primary concern of mine to begin with. But now it's just a matter of, we've got a very good stadium in Hughes Stadium. Can make some improvements to it, but as they said tonight, we've got 160 acres there to work with. A lot of potential that kind of property can be used for.
Site selections, of course, student housing, they're thinking about tearing down a lot. What were your first thoughts when you saw those locations?
Well, everybody that knows much about the campus knows that there's very few places that we would have the opportunity of putting this stadium. So it wasn't much of a surprise, the area that they're focusing on most there. Again, you look at it, as you mentioned, it's a student housing area. So I really think that should be reserved for student housing or other important needs in the future.
So what's your general reaction after these meetings? Are these really helping? Are you learning anything from these?
Oh, you're always learning from a meeting like this. What's disappointing is that it's just not open to public real comment. Yes, we have had the 10 input meetings, but really it would be much better if the community were able to participate more in meetings. Obviously, I feel there are a lot of different things that are conflicts with the stadium. I think the issues of traffic, the congestion it's going to cause, it's just really going to affect our community. I've lived in Columbus, Ohio, Buckeyes. I've lived in South Carolina, in Columbia, South Carolina, where the University of South Carolina is, and Fort Collins just doesn't seem to be the type of community for a big influence of football to be here. I think that Fort Collins has a lot to offer, and I just don't think that we need a stadium right in the middle of town like this.
What's been the toughest thing for you throughout this process?
It's time consuming. It's a time-consuming process. I've learned a lot coming through this process, and anytime you undertake a big project like this, it's a challenge. There's so many different things to consider, all the different opportunities and challenges, the soft costs and the hard costs and the opportunities, and trying to really get into the vision of what it would be like to have on campus. I'm a CSU alum myself, so I speak both from being a Vice President for Operations and a CSU alum, and I also got my graduate degree at a school that had a stadium right in the middle of campus, so I've had that game day experience both ways, and trying to envision what it would do for CSU to have it on campus is a challenge, but it's exciting too. We've never really taken a hard look at this before, and I think now's really the time to do it.
Last question for you, being an alum, bold new era, are you starting to kind of feel that? I talked to a lot of the student athletes, and they're saying they're starting to feel that.
Yeah. Have you talked to the new coach? You can't help but feel it when you talk to him. He's so excited about it. Every time I see Coach Mack, I get excited about football. But I love CSU athletics and always, and football too. So I'm very excited for the season this fall. Can't wait to see what Coach Mack can do.
Site locations, your first feelings after seeing kind of a theory of where it could go?
Well, I think that the work that the site selection committee has done is really rational, and that they've taken into consideration history, they've taken into consideration the master plan, as well as the objectives that we're trying to accomplish with an on-campus stadium, if in fact we go forward with an on-campus stadium. So I think it's really good work.
How fast are things moving? I mean, it was just a few months ago this was an idea, and now things are coming into play with the organization planning, getting everything tested out.
Well, I think things are moving forward at a very functional rate. We all made the decision when we decided to give serious consideration to an on-campus stadium to get this behind us. If in fact we're going to build an on-campus stadium, let's make that decision and build it. And if we're not, let's put it behind us and move on, because there's so many important things that we've got to do other than debate whether or not we're going to have a stadium. We're going to do a very thorough job. A very thorough job is being done. We're not just matriculating through the process, though. We're focusing on it and we're working on it. And so it feels like it's moving quickly, but it's moving quickly because unlike other processes like this, we're focused.
Last question for you. You guys are going to be looking at other stadiums. Tell me, is there a certain stadium that you want to map this after? TCU, North Texas?
You know, I'm wide open. I think that we are going to take into consideration all of the goals, objectives, and deliverables that we want an on-campus stadium to deliver for Colorado State. And there are a couple places off the top of my head that I think achieve some of those objectives, maybe not all of those objectives, maybe more. The one that comes to my mind is Stanford University. I grew up in San Francisco in Northern California and have been to Stanford University many, many times, including before they built the new stadium. And I've been to the new stadium about a half a dozen times now. And I think it's a wonderful facility. It's about 50,000 seats. It's incredibly well landscaped. And it's very functional. It's a nice space, but it's not pretentious. It's not overdone. I like it culturally, and so I think we'll probably end up in Palo Alto to study Stanford, and I'm excited to do that.
Up next on the show, I check in with the CSU football team at practice, hear from head coach Jim McElwain. Stay tuned.
You're watching RSM, the Ram Sports Magazine Show on Northern Colorado 5.
Welcome back to RSM. Already plenty of changes have occurred in CSU's spring football camp. I had the chance to speak with head coach Jim McElwain earlier this week.
Okay, our protection's not very good right now. We're really struggling in protection, so scrimmage we might just have to run it every down, I think.
Is it just knowing assignments, or is it a matter of or just physically guys getting beat?
You know what, we're getting beat a lot. Our sets aren't great, and it starts with the center snap, So, but we didn't handle. We put in 2 minute today. Very sloppy offensively with that. First time doing it. New routine. So we'll get a good practice on that at the stadium on Friday.
What is the format you're looking for your scrimmage? How are you going to run it?
Well, what we'll do is what you hope to do is to get each unit probably about 25 to 30 plays, and move the field. Then we'll have a designated third down period, designated red area period, designated 2 minute. And as situations come, we'll just use the special teams, whatever, however it works, assigned kind of by a team. And really the thing we want to do come out of Friday is hopefully when we watch the film, I don't jump off the top of Moby or anything, but just see how guys compete. I mean, that's really the biggest thing.
I suppose you're also looking to see what they've learned, but the second half of that, how they apply what they learned.
According to today, I'm not sure we've learned anything, but no, those are all part of it. How do they handle, first time in the stadium, all that kind of thing. And especially the young guys, some of the young guys who didn't get a chance maybe to play much last year. Right. This will be the first time that they'll be kind of live in the environment, and so we're kind of excited to see how they're going to adapt.
Do you expect some guys to kind of step up in that environment?
You
guys that maybe so out here, you put them in that, and maybe you see something different.
Yeah, you always hope that, and yet I think that a lot of that sometimes too is a case where, you hate to see that guy because you want to make sure that they're practicing every down, right? Yeah. So if that's something like that happens, then maybe we better reevaluate what they're doing out here.
Wonder why they're not practicing.
Yes, exactly right.
So how many total plays do you think you might end up with? It sounds like well over 100 then.
Well, you would think, we want to probably get the pitch count in. We got to make sure we see the quarterbacks in the different situations, and then the O-line, we're still a little thin there, so you hate to just, wear them out. But hopefully in that, I'm hoping between 110 and 125.
You talk different units. Do you have 4 or 3?
Well, we've kind of got 4 in some spots. We've got 3s in others, it's just, and that's all part of that is the roster than we are in others. So we need to make sure that when we get to our next fall roster that we've managed those numbers correctly.
Will you match up 1s on 1s, 2s on 2s type things?
At certain time, yeah. It's going to be mixed based on the basically based on whatever we're practicing, whatever the situation is. So.
Given that this is your first time as a head coach, how excited are you to see him out in the stadium doing this?
I just hope I can find my way to the stadium and that they don't start without me.
Take prospect? No. Your tempo that you're looking, how quickly are they catching on to how quickly you want them in and out of the huddle? How quickly you want them running off plays?
Well,
are they catching up?
Today was and yesterday's practice was really, we focused on using the shot clock, and quarterbacks being aware of where they're at. We kind of had to bring our portable one out here, and then we can't really see these other ones, so we just, I've got to make sure they're alert of that. So that'll be something in the stadium, that they'll be able to be aware of where those shot clocks are, and getting us in and out, so we're not wasting time.
I'm just talking about like just general drills. Are they getting through things? Are they running practice at a tempo
they're
pace?
They're and you know what? They're hustling. They kind of know where to go now. The routine is starting to hit them. And so it's good to see, they are. I tell them, when the whistle blows, if you don't know where you're going, run around in circles. So it looks like it until you find where you're supposed to be.
Find another defensive lineman, follow him to where you're supposed to go. Yeah.
Now that you've heard from Coach Mack, coming up next on the show, hear from several of the players as they prepare for their first spring scrimmage under the new era.
You're watching RSM, the Rams Sports Magazine Show on Northern Colorado 5.
Welcome back to Rams Sports Magazine Show. The CSU football spring practice continues this week. On Friday, they've got their spring scrimmage. That was the hot topic as I spoke to several of the players in practice on Wednesday. All right, Thomas, first big thing. You guys got a scrimmage this Friday, new coach, bold new era. Tell me how excited you are for this Friday practice.
We're really excited. We've put in a lot of work so far, and we've installed a lot of plays, and we've gotten so many reps that we're all really excited to see how we'll do on Friday.
There's another quarterback battle going on. Of course, Garrett's got the experience, but what's that mean for the receivers working nonstop with different quarterbacks?
Well, we've worked a lot with these guys in the offseason, and all the quarterbacks have some experience, and they're really working hard to make plays and throwing really good balls and making the right reads and stuff. So all the receivers are really excited about that. So
you're one of the younger guys on the team. How excited are you that this whole new changes, everything's going on? You get to adjust to it and have a future here at CSU.
I'm really excited. I'm really lucky and blessed that I could be here while this change was made and be young, and a lot of these guys that are seniors will get to experience it this year. I mean, I feel really bad for the guys that left last year, but we got a big chance to really make some big things happen.
Receiving core, just tell me about this receiving core. What are its strengths? What are its weaknesses? Obviously, speed's a strength.
Right. We do have a lot of speed at receiver. We have a lot of weakness with size, obviously, but we've got Marquise, who's more of a big body, and he can come in there and make a lot of plays, and he's been working really hard this spring. And same with Lou coming back as a senior. Lee and Charles. There's some guys that are really young but had experience last year, and we're really excited to see them make plays. And the scrimmage on Friday is a good landmark for us, and we're all really excited to see what we can do.
And scrimmage this Friday. Tell me how excited are you?
It's gonna be fun, man. We haven't got to tackle anybody yet. We haven't really got the hit. So going out to the stadium, just being under the lights, the atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? It just brings in that excitement. So I mean, it'll be fun.
Tell me about this new coaching staff. You're kind of reaching that midway point of spring ball.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, at first, I ain't gonna lie, it was pretty awkward. You know what I'm saying? Just a bunch of new faces. But now, I mean, we're getting to know each other. You know what I'm saying? Everything's different, which, in my opinion, makes it kind of fun. You know what I'm saying? Because you're learning. So I think it's fun, having all new guys. So I think it'll help us in the end.
How do you feel about this receiving core? Obviously, you guys got the speed.
Yeah, I mean, we don't got the size, but, I mean, if you can run, and you're going to be running all day, you know what I'm saying? That's going to be the thing. So, and I feel like with everything being new, it's brought us closer together because, we got to learn. You know what I'm saying? I got to ask somebody, hey, what I got? They got to ask me what I got. So I feel like that's bringing us closer together.
Man, senior year, what's that mean to you?
Ooh-wee. It means leave it all out on the line. Whatever. I want to hit anybody, anywhere, the referee, their coaches, my coaches. When I finish in December, I want to feel like it was nothing else for me to accomplish on the football field, and that's just how I'm going to do it.
I love hearing that. Talking about referees, having refs in practice, what's that been like?
I mean, it's been kind of different, but I feel like when we get out there playing Saturdays, it'll just be like second nature. You know what I'm saying? We get out there, ref. You know what I'm saying? We got the chains everywhere. It's going to feel like home when we get out there on the field, which is why I appreciate it here. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool.
You've had to deal with a lot of quarterback battles as a receiver being here at CSU. You're going through yet another one. But how confident are you that you guys are going to have the right guy?
I mean, I got faith in all of them. And, I mean, Coach Mack, he going to make the best decision on which one to put in. And I feel like regardless, if one go down and another one come in, then he's going to make adjustments to that. So, I mean, I'm not really worried about it. We gonna win this year, regardless.
Now, you had the chance to hear from a few guys from the offensive side of the ball, but coming up next on the show, hear from the defense. Stay tuned.
You're watching RSM, the Rams Sports Magazine Show on Northern Colorado 5.
Welcome back to the show, Rams fans. On Friday of this week, CSU will hold its first spring scrimmage under head coach Jim McElwain. I spoke to a few of the guys on the defensive side of the ball, and I'm going to tell you right now, they are pumped.
I'm real excited to see how we're looking as a team and see how far we've come and see all the coaches and us working together, and I'm real excited.
How has practice been? You're kind of reaching that midway point of spring ball. How different are things?
I mean, it's real different. The tempo of practice is different. We're running around a lot more. But, I mean, just thinking about all that stuff, I feel really good. I think the team feels good. We look good. We've picked up everything really quick, so it's looking good.
There's all this talk of a bold new era. Does it feel like that? Does this feel like a whole new, different era?
It absolutely does. I mean, I've seen guys that haven't been that excited lately, and everybody now is just, it's night and day different. So,
senior year, man, what's that mean to you?
I mean, they say it goes fast, but you really don't know how fast it goes until it's here. And, I mean, I can't put it into words, really, but just go have a great last year and try to make something happen past that.
Last question for you. What's your big goal in spring camp?
I just want to become a leader and be known as a leader of the defense and just be a physical presence on the field.
Coach Mack, prior to the practices starting, he said special teams, hidden yardage. You know, has he hyped on that a lot with you guys?
Yes, that's the good thing about this staff is they all have contributed to special teams, you know, either one way or the other, wherever they were in the past. But, yeah, I mean, that a lot of people don't realize, you know, field position wins games, whether, you know, there's no way around it, so.
Can't argue that. Now, you're one of the players leading this team. Not much changes for you. It's always a personal battle. But what is the atmosphere like in spring ball?
I mean, it's the same. Really the same. We're getting ready for we're getting ready for the season. So, yeah, we're going to do what we got to do.
Last question for you. Scrimmage coming up this Friday. How much has improved for you in the offseason? Are you ready to show off to these fans?
Yeah. We've been working on that hang time, so I like putting in he's anyway, so it should be a good day.
Now that's all the time I have this week on RSM, but tune in next week. I'll have a recap of that spring scrimmage, and I'll check in with the softball team. Catch you next time, Rams fans.